Joseph Alexander Feliciano, class number 17 of 3J, and this is my presentation about the pyramids of the Philippines, the Banaue Rice Terraces. For 2,000 years, the high rice fields of Ifugao have followed the contours of the mountain, the fruit of knowledge handed down from one generation to the next, and the expression of sacred tradition and delicate social balance. They have helped to create a landscape of great beauty that expresses the harmony between humankind and the environment. This is the Banaue Rice Terraces. The Banaue Rice Terraces were carved into the contours of the mountains of Ifugao with tiers that rise 1,500 meters above sea level, each made of stone or clay retaining walls snaking along the contours of the mountainside. So who created these wonderful terraces? The makers of the Banaue Rice Terraces were the Igorots, literally mountain people. These people consist of Ibaloy, Kankanay, Ifugao, Kalinga, Apayao, and the Bontocs. These people who eventually became rice farmers were believed by some scholars to have originated from the warlike immigrants who reached the northern islands of the Philippines from Vietnam and China. So what made them think of creating such wonder? The Mayao. The Mayao are one of the 55 official minority people groups of mainland China. They are known for cultivating terraced paddy fields and thus in this technology, along with several others which they brought to the Cordilleras. But the influence of the Chinese does not end here. The secret of the Banaue Rice Terraces is that it actually tells the story of Chinese interaction with the ethnic cultures of the Cordillera way before the arrival of the Spanish. How did they create these such wonders? The Igorots carefully carved the natural contours of the mountain. They used the stones and mud walls that would rise up to 50 feet. Some of the clay walls are more than 80 feet. Some garden terraces have been backfilled with soil, ash, and composted vegetable materials, while others have been simply carved from the rock and overlaid with soil washed down from the higher levels. How does these terraces work? And how did they do it? They made canals through the rocks to allow the passage of great quantities of water to the top of the terraces. Once the highest terraces are flooded, water spills over the descending walls until the whole mountain is watered. And then they just wait for the crops to grow. So why was these terraces created? Basically, two things. It was the home for the bululs, the rice gods, and it is a more efficient way of producing crops. The bulul. The bulul are the rice gods. The rice culture of the Igorots, central to their way of life, inevitably had a spiritual dimension. The adversarial nature of the geography of this region and the tremendous odds faced by the Ifugao to assure access to food set the stage for the bulul, the rice god figures that came to be a mechanism through which superhuman restraint becomes central and production of a basic need. Once the ceremonies and the feasts are completed, the figure is installed in a granary in the attic of the house, from which it is believed to protect the crops and ensure abundant harvests. So what threatens these wonderful terraces? The lure of higher paying jobs and the plague of giant earthworms threaten these heritage sites. The people prefer to take higher paying jobs in the city rather than work in these agricultural places. Also, the giant earthworms are causing the soil to erode and slowly destroying these rice terraces. Fortunately, there are Filipinos who are working to restore this site by rebuilding the terraces, and thus removing it from the list of endangered sites and return it to the list of heritage sites. The tourists' money and the money they pay to view the site are helping in restoring this world wonder. But why should we be proud as Filipinos? We Filipinos should be proud of this heritage site because only us have this kind of site. People around the world go to the Philippines to view this site. We should also be proud of this site because it was our own Filipino ancestors who created this Great Terraces. So here are the sources where I got the information that I spoke of.